and welcome to my BLS deck profile. Now this is a deck that I would still not say is 100% perfect, but it's a deck that got so much better post-Toon Chaos because of particular, Chaos support. Specifically Chaos-based, if I'm being honest. But the point is, the deck got a little bit more stronger, and in a way that it's able to actually play and not brick like crazy like it used to be. So it's a deck that is just, if you have the cards laying around, it's really, really cool to play. Now, before we'll jump right into the list, there are two things I want to say. Obviously, the usual one, which is a subscriber a day, keep the depression away. So if you want to help the channel and essentially, help me see more videos and stuff like that, that are like this or even different variety, please give the channel a little bit of a chance and consider subscribing to the channel because, we're doing few videos here that are like this and other stuff which I'm planning to do in the near future, which that's the second thing I want to talk about, because I am going to make an update video also talking about why I kind of was almost out for 2 weeks, but I'll give you the long story short right now. I'm just busy in personal life stuff. So for anybody who wonders that, I will get to it with also the giveaway result at the same time, but I'm just a little bit busy at the moment, so that's why I wasn't able to make a video for 2 weeks. But that's pretty much it for that. Without further ado, let's jump right into the list, which is very, very fun, all things considered. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so let's get started with the list. So I'm going to put it out there that the deck is not really that budget for the most part, but the Chaos support, let's just be honest here, really helped the deck to actually function, as you're going to see as we'll move along, and I will explain things as we'll do stuff. So starting things off, let's start off with the BLS lineup, which unfortunately I do have to proxy one of this, which I will explain. First things first, for our boss monsters, we're running 2 copies of the new BLS Ritual, 1 copy of the OG Ritual, 2 copies of Envoy of the Beginning, 2 copies of Beginning's Night, and 2 copies of Twilight Evening's Night, and 2 copies of Super Soldier Soul. So basically this is the lineup of BLS that we're choosing to run. There's also Envoy of Chaos if you really would want to run a Kalut, but I just think like a Kalut in 2020 is not really that important. And unfortunately I had to proxy one of this because for some reason I didn't get a second one in my Megaton in 2016, or I just didn't really find it, so I just decided to run 1 copy and proxy it. But the point is, this card became so much better in Link format, and that's the reason why you run this card. Like a lot of cards is like I really like, because the Link mechanic just came in, it became better, just like this one. It's a level 1 that can become 3000 attack if you're saying a BLS from your hand to the graveyard, or his other ability, which is the more important one, is that if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and add one of these 4 knights. So essentially, it's a searchable for your mini knights, which is very important because then you can use them to fuel your graveyard to then perform either your rituals and then perform your chaos play, which making this card very important. As for these guys, well, they give you ritual monster effects, and if they're banished also from the graveyard, they search ritual monster or ritual spell for BLS. So for example, for this one, I believe he searched the ritual monster, and this one searched the ritual spell. This giving you the effect to attack twice and also banish a monster on the field. And this one is banish a card from your opponent's hand until the end of the turn, and also banish a card on the field. I believe it's a monster on the field. So the point is, this one has the better effects for the most part, and this one is just the better search effect, I guess, because you mostly need to search the rituals rather than search the ritual monsters. Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning is obvious. Also, it's a chaos monster, you can search it. And the reason why we don't run 3 of this and instead run 2 and 1 of this is because this one can only be special summoned once per turn from anywhere. So just to pay attention to that is because it can only be special summoned once per turn. It also have another nice effect, I guess, in terms of battle, but mostly what you care about is the fact that you attach these effects on him and he's just a really big dude. But you also need this one just in case, because like I said, it can only be special summoned once per turn, which is kind of a shame. But that's pretty much does it for the BLS part. This card I'm so happy that just became better. And this is just a really nice chunk that's just nice to see that the BLS lineup is really cool. Now again, like I said, you could run Envoy of Chaos, but if you don't really think that you need a Kalut like I do. I don't think a Kalut of 1500 additional attack in 2020 is really good. So, you know, it's up to you, but yeah, you can do whatever you want. So, for the next cards, we're running the Chaos package of one of the Chaos Creator, one Dragon Kalapa Servant, one of Wormbuster, or should I say White Dragon and Black Dragon, and then one copy of, again, unfortunately, to proxy Chaos Valkyria. Reason why I have to proxy this one is because specifically the shop that I ordered it from didn't really give me the card in the same time that gave me this, because they had a problem in their stock, so I have to proxy this, which is kind of a shame, but I do supposed to get it pretty soon. The point is, these are really good. They're giving you the ability to make your Chaos space very useful, and they're just banishing for you the mini knights or any other things that you need to essentially continue your plays and just build a board or doing things like that. This is also really good to essentially also get a kind of a recycle effect, and also help you to get some kind of you know, a rank 8 play, which is also very, very nice. And these two are pretty awesome. And Valkyria is only here because of the fact that she's a searchable that can also banish a light and a dark. So sometimes you do need the option of, like, you know, you open up with one of these, but you don't really have a way to get a dark in the grave or something weird as that. But you are able to get a light, but you also have this in your deck, so you're able to search this. It's a weird. There are sometimes weird plays that you do need Chaos Valkyria, so you want to run one copy of her, in my opinion. Next up, we're also moving to the Warrior supporting engine, which we're running 3 copies of Butter Spy, 1 copy of Honor Thrusher, 3 copies of Neo Space Connector, and then 1 copy of Aqua Dolphin. Now, these are really, really good and very, very crucial. So for these guys, they can be searchable by Chaos Space. That's right, they cannot be normal summoner set. So you can search them with Chaos Space. Really, really cool. So you can search any one of them that you particularly need, or discard them to search another one that you need and also fill up your graveyard. Photon Thrusher is just a nice special summon if you control nothing. This one is also really nice. If you like special summon, then like you can also chain block your opponent, I believe, with this effect, which is really cool. I am considering bumping this one up to 2, maybe. We'll see, because it's also, like I said, it's just a free special summon, but we'll see about it. But I think like having the dark is a little bit more important, because how should I say this? There are a lot more lights than darks in this deck. As for this little engine, well, it's first off 1 card Isolde, which is one of the engines that you do run in the deck to actually like the good engine, because you use Isolde to essentially like fill up your graveyard and then summon the Super Soul or Super Soldier Soul, because it's also a warrior, and then you will like also fuel up your play, which is really cool. Also, it's a way for you to get rid of hand traps that might stop you in some terms and ways. And also, if you're able to summon a ritual before, right? You're able to ritual before, you can also get rid of an imbuer, so you can also just stop your opponent from stopping you. There's also like little things that just this card is really useful. So like you're just doing this and you bring this out, which is really nice. So I feel like this little engines of warrior, or should I say like this 8 warrior package, is just really good for the deck and just helped quite a bit. But that's pretty much does it for the monsters. Now move on for the spells. So first off, let's start off with the best spell, Free Chaos Space, followed up by the second best spell, Gateway to Chaos, and then 1 copy of Terraforming to essentially help that lineup. So basically, Chaos Space is amazing. I don't understand people that I've seen like maybe trying this list by running only 2 of this, which I think is weird. 3 of this is just, in my opinion, a mandatory, because you can discard any light or dark and then start up your plays, which is really, really amazing. It's just the ability to do that is just really, really powerful. Gateway to Chaos is very, very important. If you're able to load this with enough counters, you can search a ritual spell directly from your deck, which is one of these 3, which is these 3, which we'll get in a second. But the point is, you can search with it, which is really, really nice. And also Terraforming is just to search the 4th copy, because as you can know, Terraforming is a 1, so if it was a 2, we'll go 2 and 2, but because it's a 1, we're going 3 and 1. The point is, this is like, what is it called? Magical Meltdown. You can only activate 1 per turn, so just do also keep that in mind. So yeah, if your opponent just negate this and destroy this, you cannot activate another one to search another BLS, so just do keep that in mind when you're playing with the card. As for the ritual spells, as I displayed on screen, we have 3 of them. I felt like 3 is enough, just like the ritual monsters. I might think you need a 4th one, maybe the original ritual spell, but I'm not sure about that one. The point is, these ritual spells are unfortunately supposed to be very exact, which is the problem with these ones. However, this one is really good. If you have a light or a dark in your hand, right? And even if the BLS is in your graveyard, so let's say you're just discarded it for an effect or something, like even your Super Soldier Soul, you're discarded it for any kind of an effect, right? You're able to summon it from your graveyard. Also, the point is, it just loads your graveyard with light and darks, which is really good. But again, it has to be an exact levels of 8, which one of them will be a darks that you send from your hand or light, and then you said the other counterpart from your deck. So if you send a light, you send a dark from your deck equal 8, and vice versa. So most of the time you're sending a level 4 light, and then you're sending a level 4 dark, which is really what it does. As for this one is just a normal ritual spell. Again, unfortunately, can only be exactly 8, but it also have a nice grave effect, I guess. That is like let you to banish a light and dark from your graveyard, to then special summon a blacklisted sort of ritual monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning condition by also banishing this, which is really cool. It's an okay, I guess, but it's not really that amazing. But the point is, it's still just an additional ritual spell if you are kind of stopped. Again, with the same idea, because this one can only be special summoned once per turn. So at least that is the case, and it just kind of help you. And then lastly, for your additional spells, we're running 1 copy of Reinforce of the Army, 1 copy of Foolish Burial, 1 copy of Living Fossil, 1 copy of Divine Sword, Phoenix Blade, and 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, which could be Called by the Grave, Ash Blossom, whatever hand trap you prefer. I decided to go with Dark Ruler because I just hate the mentality of break my board, so I just want to break their board as much as possible, and then just build a board that they will not be able to essentially break because they will not have enough resources to deal with me, because they waste all of the resources to make the unbreakable board. So I just really like ways to deal with that. And essentially, like, you're able to put 2 to 3 interruptions in your deck anyway, like mostly using most of your hand, but if you're lucky enough, you're also like able to do that with like 2 to 3 cards. You're able to put like enough of 2 to 3 interruptions to just like stop your opponent and maybe even take a card out of their hand, which is really cool. The point is, these cards are great. Search Your Warrior, Foolish Burial for you, whatever you need. Like for example, let's say you do need the BLS itself, you Foolish it, or you need to Foolish the so-called, like, you know, light and dark target. It's give you that, and these for Isolde, and these, like I said, help you break boards, which is really cool. But that's pretty much does it for the main deck, 40 cards. Now move on for the extra deck. As for the extra deck, first off, you're running 1 copy of Borreload Savage Dragon and 1 copy of Borreload Dragon for your Link 4s. This should be in the future Appaloosa if you will be able to get it from the Megatins. I'm just going to say that out loud, it should be an Appaloosa. But for the moment, I only have a Borreload, so I'm playing the Borreload. For the Link 3s, or should I say the Nightmare Package, Unicorn, Phoenix, Cerberus, these are really good to help you for removal, I guess. Then you also run, you know, the important cards, which are Isolde, Cross Sheep, Anima, All Mirage, Linkaribo, and even you can also consider Barricade Blocker as an important. All of these have really good usage. Isolde is probably the most important card here, because if you're able to just bring it out, it's just a really good advantage, I guess. But the point is, even if you bring out this card out, or this card out, it's not the end of the world, and they can still work. As for these 3, most of the time you do want to bring out the Linkaribo, but let's say you're in a situation that you need to suck up a monster, you have the ability to bring out Anima. Or let's say you're not able to do anything but just normal summoning, but you still can fill up your graveyard to then like banish for a Chaos play. You summon your level 4 or lower, which all of your level 4 or lowers that like you can say normal summonable have less than 1500 attack, you summon it, and then you just essentially banish the one that you need and continue your plays. Of course, it doesn't work with Dolphin, but with the rest it does, so that's really good. And then Linkaribo, because it's freaking Linkaribo. So that's pretty much does it for that. As for your other Xyz stuff, which are not links, I decided to run these 4 to just have a particular Extra deck package just works, negate spells, negate monster effects, annoying, and do it with graveyard setup. So that's also very, very good. But that's pretty much does it for the deck. Pretty straightforward and pretty much nothing way too much to explain, because this deck is really straightforward for what it does. Sure, it's a little bit more on the expensive side, you could say, or it's just a little bit weird, but the other alternative is playing Pot of Extravagance, which might even be still more expensive than playing this deck. But, you know, it's still an option, I guess. Like, you can play the Extravagance and maybe try to play Imps, but Imps don't really work with this deck, like I said, because your levels need to be exact, so it's kind of a weird one. The other option that you could play with this deck, which I might test in the future, is Invoked, but I'm not sure if Invoked still work with this. But again, this deck is still very, very fun. It just, if you have the cards, they're laying around, you just want to try something casual, and maybe even improve this, sure, go ahead and try this and give this a spin. As usual, of course, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think I can do to improve this deck? With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, guys. Stay safe. Consider giving a subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.